everybody, and welcome back to the Chilluminati podcast. As always, I am one of your hosts, Mike Martin. Today, joined by, oh shit, I forgot their names. Bubbles, Blossom, and Buttercup of LA. There we go.
The what?
The Bubbles, Blossom, and Buttercup of LA. Come on, you don't cartoon knowledge.
The Powerpuff Girls?
Powerpuff Girls.
So all three of us are Powerpuff Girls.
Alex, Jesse, and special guest,
Yeah,
Jacob Wysocki. Welcome to the show.
Hey, you better watch your mojo, Jojo.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know who
grabbed
I'd be.
the one.
I guess he's
The one
that's fair.
touchdown from Powerpuff Girls.
Which one's the mean one? Who's the mean one?
Buttercup is the mean one. She's
I'm
green.
Buttercup today. I'm Buttercup.
Okay. You had a Buttercup kind of day today.
I had a Buttercup day.
Jesse.
I'm Buttercup. Burn this place
You kind
down.
of just sat down. You're like, today was horrible. Let's just
Is that
fucking
the
record.
green? Is that the green one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which one's the stupid one?
Well, Bubbles is the emotional one. She cries a lot.
Alex,
In blue.
then, for sure.
Alex.
That's me.
All right. Blossom's like the team leader. Like,
That'll be Jake.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
step up.
that's
I'll
a
step
solid
up.
special guest that I can't say yet. Yeah.
Wow.
and I'm like the scientist that birthed all three of you with weird chemicals.
Hard disagree
Professor.
on that.
Oh God, Professor.
X.
No,
No?
what's his name? His name is a pun, but
Napier.
yeah, his name is Professor Mick Napier. Okay. Without wasting a single second of anyone's time, let's welcome Jacob to the show today. Jacob is a comedian and actor from Lomita, California, aka the South Bay of Los Angeles. He starred in movies and television opposite the likes of John C. Reilly, Keegan-Michael Key, Scott Aukerman, Aubrey Plaza, Ring a Bell. You've probably seen him do live improv or sketch comedy around Los Angeles, or heard him on one of the many podcasts he's done sometime in the last 15 years. Or you probably had a class with him at UCB or something like that if you're one of those kids in LA who knows where Birds is. He's the guy who puts his hand in that blender in that one webcam movie, Unfriended. Most recently, you've probably seen his excellent short film, Ton of Rave, or formed a new parasocial relationship with him through his fan favorite appearances on the Dropout streaming service, where my boy is crushing it. See him this Sunday, the 17th at 1 p.m. at Vulture Festival in East LA, or check out his parody songs on SoundCloud. Link for those is in the description of this show. And also, I should say he's a good man who I've known since I was like 16 years old, and I love him very much in a real human way. Jacob Wysocki, welcome.
Simply was up, dude. Can you send me that copy so I can send that copy to every PR person that I ever interact with for the next 15 years? That rocked.
Yeah,
I feel woefully underqualified for my own show after that.
I mean, you are.
Okay, well, what the fuck, Jesse? We started this together all on day one. How am
And
I
you were unqualified then too, but here we are.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Somehow we've all made it. Now, Jacob, part of the reason why we asked you on the show today is because organically, without knowing that we are old pals, more than a few listeners grabbed that clip from a few months ago where you're kind of justifying your choice of Bigfoot as the cryptid you want to blaze with most.
Oh, hell yes.
And came to us on our subreddit
Fuck
and said,
yes.
these guys are long lost brothers. So first question I want to ask you is,
Little did they know.
Yeah.
why do you think it's weed? Why do you think it's weed and apes for us? What do you think that is? Is it the physical resemblance?
Ooh. Why is it weed and why is it apes? You know, I think it's weed because of Southern California, and that's neither of our faults. That's
take
just
that.
placement.
Guilty as
That's
charged
just
on that one,
radical, yeah, radical placement theory there.
Yeah.
Apes, I think it's I think we get like how good it is.
Yeah.
And like maybe like have a little
like
bit of a longing.
Yeah. We're smoking at the best of our intelligence. Yeah.
The Bigfoot that has like weed growing out of its fur, like naturally.
Sure.
Like a mossy.
Sure, yeah.
We're
just-
actual.
Like a mossy weed out of their own fur.
Yeah, pluck a nug.
I'll lean into the ape thing. I don't mind.
Pluck-a-nug. God, I gotta write that down. There's something we can do with that.
Just naturally, I think it's what most people spend the most time at a zoo looking at.
That's true.
I think when you think about the spread of a zoo and the time spent, organically people spend the most time at the apes or the monkeys. And then you got probably a bear would be like second or whatever. But I think there's just something about it where you're like really clued in and you're like, it's just so not that different.
Yeah. I used to get ape and bear a lot. Now I kind of have left the bear behind. I'm kind of like an ape guy now in general, in other people's minds. I don't know. That's just what is reflecting back at me.
Wait. Where did this
What
conversation?
do you mean?
What?
I know exactly.
You
what he's
are
talking
just
about.
an ape now?
Yeah,
What?
dude. Like, I'm just saying, like, in
Fuck.
the public perception,
saying he's an ape.
right? People
no,
give me
but-
back ape all the time nowadays. People just tell me, "Oh, you're like an ape."
I just get you look sickly.
How often are people like, dude, you look like an ape?
I post
Like,
a
how
picture
often
of.
does that
I
happen to
post a
you?
picture of a monkey. I post a picture of a monkey. Go to the official Chilluminati account. I post a picture of a monkey. They say, "Why is Alex in that picture?"
I mean, it
That's
does
it.
happen. He's
That's
not
it.
wrong. That does happen.
That's it. That's just real.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
So anyway, so I ask this question to every guest: where do you actually stand on this stuff? Like in our personal lives, you're somebody that I like sort of turn to as like a more in tune kind of spiritual type of guy. But like, what do you say? Are ghosts real? Are aliens real? Are cryptids real? Are there conspiracy theories you believe? Where do you land on those topics?
Well, I guess I should start with the most obvious thing, which is I think science is fake. Always has been, always will
Yeah,
be.
totally.
Science
Safe
is the
space.
most fake thing ever. No, I think I like am probably farther on the side of believing in fun things more than most people. I often interact with people or find myself in situations with people who believe a lot more strongly than I do, or they've burrowed into a tunnel much deeper than I could ever imagine burrowing as far as like special interest.
Yeah.
But I think it is fun to entertain all ideas and all possibilities, and cryptids, ghosts, specters, ghouls, curses, and all that stuff.
Smithy, what up, buddy?
He's just doing his thing. He's just a dog.
Yeah, he's
That's
just
all
got to
that-
be a guard dog.
He heard you about to spill the truth about UFOs and aliens. He was
Yeah.
like, don't do it. They'll come for you. Don't do it.
Yeah, so I guess what I'm trying to say is I believe, and I think it's really fun to believe. I definitely have some boundaries where I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to really go deeper than I am here. Like, I don't really think I believe in vampires, really.
Yeah,
But
you
that's
gotta have
also
reason.
like,
Fair enough.
yeah, but that also at the end of the day feels weirdly kind of almost hypocritical or like a little strange to be like, I believe in the big hairy ape, I believe in the fae, but like I don't believe in vampires. So that's like in of itself, I create my own problems where it's like, if I'm not believing in it at all, how can I believe in some?
People kind of like have like made a little like mood ring using us as the thing. Jesse's very staunchly like a skeptic. Mathis, especially with aliens, but like with a lot of stuff, is very much more like all in. And I'm kind of like Tony Shalhoub in Galaxy Quest. Like I'm just kind of like, I just enjoy the notion of it, you know?
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I feel like most people fall into one of those three categories. Like if you believe it and you don't really care whether it's true, I feel like that's something. I feel like that's different than being like, you know, you wake up every day and Bigfoot is sitting there in the woods waiting for you if you can find him.
Yeah, I definitely don't need to prove it. I don't need to make my art about it. Like,
Yeah.
even though I have,
Yeah.
like, I don't need to. I think there are people who are like I've met people who like believe in a way where they're like, everything I do outside of, well, let me say that again. Like all of my leisure is dedicated to like making sculptures of Bigfoot.
Right.
And like,
High art.
they're radical and they look amazing. Yeah, but it's like that's what you're spending your entire, and I feel like there's a calling there. There's a signal.
It speaks to an amount of time. Yeah.
Yes, and you cannot deny to amplify that signal. You simply have to. I don't feel that deeply about these things. It's more fun. It's a novelty. Stories are cool. My dad always did a great job of being like, well, what if? What if? What if the rocks were put there by this or whatever? So I just try and chase that what if.
Yeah. I vibe that. It's for culture. You got to. Somebody's got to at least entertain it, I feel like. So what about like personal stories in the family? Like, do you have like your own like that one time, or are there any good like family tales that you remember that you want to talk about? I always ask this because there's always some gold.
For sure. I don't think I've ever had like a shared experience with like my mom and my dad in a way, but there's one that I think the thing that convinced me is the thing that I have is like the earliest memory of something spectral happening is that me and my good friend Justin Gardner were hanging out in my garage and I saw something and it was like a green glowing man who was uniformed and had like a hard hat. And he was essentially like floating from my left to my right, past my view, walking down the driveway. I saw this very, very clearly. I was probably 10, 11 years old. I went to Justin and said, "What did you see?" And he described green man, uniformed, hard hat, moving left to right. Same exact
scientific.
I did not lead the
Crazy.
witness. And that just stuck with me for years. It stuck with me for years. And one time, this was like maybe like, I'm like, that was like 10. I'm
So you weren't on like
20.
10 years old. You weren't doing mushrooms, is what I'm
No,
just making sure.
I wasn't
Okay.
like accidentally too skipped up on Mountain Dew or whatever. But like, there was a Thanksgiving where Justin was around visiting, and I must have been like 25, 26. And we brought up that experience. And my mom revealed, and this had never been revealed before, but I lived behind a power plant substation. And in the 80s, a dude was electrocuted working on the lines.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
Hard hat, uniform, green, transformer. Like, it all...
Glowing
we're talking
from
about-
electricity.
And like me and Justin both just like kind of fell silent and like had those
Bro.
goosebumps. And it was just like, whoa.
That's
That's
wild.
the kind of ghost story I
Yeah.
want to know. That's the kind of ghost story I want to have,
Right.
where it like the
Me too.
detail, the history, corroborating history detail. I love that.
That
Yes,
alone would have me
where it-
forever going, what if, for sure.
For sure. And like it truly is the crux of it all. And it keeps the what if going. And I've had, I would say, a handful of other strange experiences that were, not as like vivid or apparitional, but like pretty trippy and pretty wild. My neighbor was a ghost hunter for a while, and he would take me on a couple calls, which was always really excellent. And
That seems
for the
fun.
most part, pretty neutral. You'd pretty have like a neutral experience. And
Yeah, I figure like most of them would be like pretty much nothing.
yeah, there was one experience where it was like really weird. And I was like, we got to go. Like, visibly, it's
Oh,
time
no.
to leave.
What happened?
Well, first of all, she called us. It was in Palos Verdes. It was in that like kind of like the Pedro side of things, which will mean
Okay. Yeah. Like if you are from there, it's like on the big long PV drive, it's like closer to San Pedro than to the rich people side of things. Right?
Yeah, but it's still like a pretty nice house. I'm trying to think of the best way to make this story brief. We go in, she tells us about some stuff. The husband's left, the brother's left. She's the only one left in the home because of what's been going on. We set up a couple cameras in different rooms, and I specifically was like, don't tell us anything. Let me just walk through the house, set up the cameras. So we set up a couple cameras, walked through the house. There's one part of the house that 10 degrees colder. Just frigid.
That's a big jump.
It's a big jump, and it felt dense and nasty, and it was like hard to walk through, and it was bad and it was gross. Of course, that's the area, once we said, start telling us the story, this was the problem room, was the room that was cold, was the room that was dense. She was kind of kooky, though, and something felt like slightly off. I do remember like checking the cabinets for like if she was like a pillhead. Nothing spicy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's a bold thing to do, but I appreciate the.
I mean, you have to take every
vibe.
avenue to like disprove this stuff, you know?
So that area was really dense, and it was like very clear that like this place was like kind of unsettling, and it definitely had driven 2 grown people out of the space.
That's crazy to me.
The cameras were still rolling, and we were taking pictures. This guy particularly was really into orbs. He really like believed in the orb of it all. So he was really into flash photography, looking for the orbs. The last straw was she had pulled up all of this like really nice Italian tile in like the foyer living room area and exposed the bare concrete. And she was kind of like looking at it, and she was like, start taking pictures of the concrete. Like, start taking some pictures. She's like, do you see this, like the skulls? Like this like swirl, it kind of looks like a skull, right? And I was like, oh, okay. And then she was like, no, take pictures like this. And then she was like trying to point out what she saw in the picture from the camera and all that stuff. And then she had us like step back and was like, no, take like a wider picture. And she said, I'll never forget. Can't you see? Can't you see through the... Isn't the concrete invisible to you? Can't you see the pit? The pit where they fed the little girls to the snakes?
Gotta go.
And it was just like... Yeah, but it was like unrehearsed and true. Does that make sense?
Like
yeah, she was very
the
genuine.
vibe.
You met like a monster movie person. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
and I was like,
yeah, like somebody.
I was
you're
like,
about to, like
what?
get,
She's
about
like
to get
the
real.
invisible concrete. And she just kept saying the invisible concrete. And I just told my guy, like, we got to go. And it was just like, great, we're going to check the footage and we'll get back to you. And I was like, we're done here. And I never went on another thing with him.
That's the most devastatingly
kaputzi.
realistic ghost hunting story I've ever heard in my life.
Well, I don't know, dude. When she
There's
said
no-
the little Indian girl, which is not PC, obviously, but I think it was like,
Yeah.
part of me kind of
She
fed
had,
in
like-
where I was like, I immediately wanted to be like, oh, is this area of San Pedro like heavily, you know, Tongva or like you know,
like it's not that area. You know, there is some stuff over there, but still, that's. I mean,
it really
there's a lot of
fucking
cougars
freaked me
over
out.
there.
And yeah, and she believed it, man. She could see through that fucking concrete, and there was a pit, and that's where they used to fucking feed the little girl to the snakes, dude. And
I will say,
I'm out.
That's it. Yeah.
I will say,
Yeah,
being
too.
from that area, like every really truly scary thing that's ever happened to me in my hometown has happened within like a square mile of that stretch of that 7-Eleven right there, like right at the end of 25th
Sure.
Street. Yeah, like that is to me the scariest part of the entire San Pedro, and I don't know. There's something wrong with it.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, did you tell Jacob you've got like weird ghost shit happening with you, Alex, at all? Or
I haven't really talked to him about it, but like, yeah, like in our house, like I was telling these guys the other day, like this, if you can see the Green Lantern omnibus over there, the like big thicky one, like dust cover of it the other day while I was sitting talking to Kelly just shot up like, I would say 2 inches straight up. And I was like, okay, I'm sorry. We have to go look at this. And we tried to pull it down and it was like tough to do. It like, I don't know how that occurred. It truly felt supernatural.
Yeah.
And we've been hearing sounds and stuff, but it's weird now because we have the dog and like he's barking at stuff all the time, but there's something going on, but it's not the same as San
Barking
Pedro.
at the ghost, dude.
San Pedro
Obviously.
feels
I mean,
like old.
I feel like the dogs and the cats can see what, like, I feel like it's almost a cliche, but they see what we don't.
Yeah, that's
For
true.
sure.
yeah,
I
we'll
never-
never know how they perceive reality compared to us.
Yeah, I never distrust something that a dog, like if a dog doesn't go somewhere, it immediately scares me. Don't know why.
You're like, oh, you don't want to be here? Okay, that's
The problem is having cats is like they lock on to invisible things all the time, and you just never know. You know, like that's just scary. You're just watching something with wide eyes, and there's nothing there.
Pretty close to where you were at, there was this mansion that everybody used to go to when we were kids. I forget what it was called. I don't want to like put it on blast in case it's trespassing to go there, which it probably was. But everybody used to go there and like see things. And it was like maybe like 5 minutes, 10 minutes drive from where you're talking about in Palos Verdes. Like people would drive onto the thing. I saw like a horse disappear. I saw like a dog come out of nowhere,
shit.
like 5 or 6 dogs like came out of nowhere and like came to our car and like grouped around our car. Like really weird stuff. My dad got chased off that property when he was a kid. All kinds of crazy
very
stuff.
bizarre.
Yeah.
There is,
One time
there was always lore in Palos Verdes. There's always lore of the kid who went too fast around the corner and he still haunts that corner. So you got to slow down. There was like, the guy who, like the couple who committed suicide out of the storm drain pipe. Like it was very beachy in that it did feel like there was all these sort of weird stories that like some of them were true and some of them were not. And some of them were half truths. There's something about that area. I think it's just that it's like so many kids. It's like,
it feels like the Goonie town. It's really a unique place. Honestly, like if you are in Los Angeles and you've never been to Palos Verdes, you should go. It's pretty weird. It feels like the south of France.
You haven't taken me there, right? I've never been.
We went pretty close. We went to the Bell, which is like right there.
that's good enough.
But yeah, I appreciate you talking about your personal experiences. That's a cool thing, and
Of course, it's a blast.
Yeah, I'm always glad that we asked because everybody's always got like one or two weird things. Like you never know. I was never going to expect you to say I saw a like zapped to death power station worker at my house. But that's great.
With somebody else, like as a witness as well. Like that's crazy. Like
Yeah, but with that part of the show out of the way, Jacob, you might not know this, but this episode that we're doing right now, The 5 Toes of Big Feet 2, The Other Foot, is actually part 6 of a larger 8-part meta-series, which our fans and my co-hosts absolutely love and truly do not just humor me with. I'm not going to go too far into it, but what this bit supposes is that, like, what if numerology type
I'm sorry,
shit?
Jake.
What
I
if
know you're his like
numerology is
really
real?
best, like one of his best friends, but I apologize anyway.
I like to see you guys squirm. I get it.
I like to make people think.
Thank you so much to ZocDoc for sponsoring today's episode. And I'm going to say something that's very important, but seems kind of obvious to most people. Getting checked up by a doctor's a good idea. I understand, there are some things in life that are okay to like let go and not worry about as much, like trying a new type of milk or, I don't know, mixing it up with a new takeout spot if you're like me and is autistic and don't like to change out what you eat every day. Maybe that's something I can worry a little bit less about. But the one thing I won't worry about is my physical health. And as much as I don't like talking to people on the phone, ZocDoc allows me to actually set up doctor appointments without having to talk to anybody. It's pretty nice. If you don't know what ZocDoc is, hey, I'm here. I'm going to tell you what it is. It's a free app and website where you can search and compare high quality in-network doctors, choose the right one for your needs specifically, and obviously click to instantly book an appointment right there on the website. We're talking about in-network appointments with more than 100,000 healthcare providers across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, eye care, skin care, and much more. You can even filter for doctors who take your insurance, who are located nearby, who are a good fit for any medical need you might have, and who are just simply highly rated by verified patients. Plus, ZocDoc appointments happen fast, typically within 24 to 72 hours, and you can even score same-day appointments. So stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/chill to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's it. That's ZocDoc.com/chill. ZocDoc.com/chill. I use ZocDoc. Hey, I think you should try it too.
Yeah, okay, so each one of the 8 episodes in the cryptic cycle of episodes that I'm doing has a special word associated with it that starts with the letter H. So far, we have had Hidden in our Madcap UFO episode. It had Santel on it, whom you also know. Heavyweights, which was all about mysteries involving the WWE. Horse, which was about the weird conspiracy surrounding the Denver airport and the big blue horse out front. Head, it was an unexpected trilogy about the dream realm. And Hello, which was all about the Zodiac killer. So that was the last, what's that, 5, right?
Hello.
So now...
Wow, Zodiac was the last one we did with the H series. It's been a while.
Yeah, hello, this is the Zodiac speaking. Today's episode, which is about big feet, is associated with the word huge on account of the feet.
Okay.
And next episode that I do is going to be called Him Again, which I'll keep secret exactly what that is for now, along with the final episode in the sequence, Hero. All together, these episodes have a common thematic through line, which once you identify it, can probably help it determine not only what the last 2 episodes are
I
about.
identified it. I got it. I got you figured out. It's you fucking with us, and it's driving me crazy.
You'll see. We'll see.
That's the through line.
I almost yearn for the green stone days.
It's the through line is making it up as you go along.
No, I've got this. Some people have already guessed it, as a matter of fact. But no one has guessed what some people have guessed what the next 2 episodes are. No one has guessed what the larger thing is that I'm building to. What do you guys actually think I'm building to? Genuine guess. Do you actually have a guess what I'm building to?
Mental break.
You mean like what the last episode is?
Yeah, what do you think this is all about? Why am I doing this?
Saying you're going to quit the show.
Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Why am I doing this? Tell me.
Don't worry about it.
I don't know.
Don't worry about it.
That's probably the real reason. Yeah. Like, genuinely, the man wants to know. Someone tell him why he's doing this.
Why am I doing this?
Please,
it's not a lake. It's an ocean. But besides, that's not what today's about. Today's about chilling. Today's about being carefree. And that's why there's no better place to look than the official magazine of the 1987 Chilluminati Kids Course Summer Investigation Course at Angeles National Forest, Chilluminati Magazine, which I just so happen to have right here. Isn't that awesome?
What?
Yeah.
Can you show it to us?
No, because
can we look at it?
It's 40 years old, the July 1987 issue. It's off screen. It's in a automated page turning conservative thing, so I can't bring it on to the thing. I can't bring it on the camera because the light.
Every time it turns the page, it just is like Trump.
The light will hurt it, so I can't show it on the camera. But just trust me, it's there.
Oh, that is true about the light. I forget about the light.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and it still has some pretty good information in it about the star of this week's proceedings, the Big Feet themselves. Yes. It's finally time for the other foot to drop on this loose mini-series about the 5 toes of Big Feet, which, as you know, is a word I made up that means more than one Bigfoot, but that strangely also seems to appear in this 37-year-old magazine. Isn't that weird? Anyway.
Your dance with the English language is fascinating. Calling this a mini-series when the second episode is like 2 years after the first one is...
It's a mini-series.
Generous.
I hate to correct you, but a loose miniseries.
Yeah, it's loose.
All right,
it's loose. It's a loose miniseries.
2 years loose.
It's a loose miniseries.
So anyway, here's Jacob. He's going to read the intro to this article, which only has a byline of staff, to remind us what the 5 toes of Bigfoot actually are. So I'm going to drop those in right here into the chat.
First, let me say what a true honor it is to be a part of a series.
God bless.
It's always been a dream of
welcome.
mine. I'm taking from the top.
Yeah, and then I'll give you. It ran out of space, so I put another one at the bottom.
Hey Zach, thank you for subscribing to
Chilluminauts.
Yeah, Chilluminauts. Sorry, it's a cold read.
Yeah.
Hey Zach, thank you for. It's a cold read, not my strength as an actor. Hey, Zach, especially when there's fake words. It's the 7th word.
How fucking dare you?
Hey, Zach, thank you for subscribing to Chilluminati's Kids Corp Summer Investigation Course at Angeles National Forest. Before we unleash you into the lakeside campgrounds for a weekend of full-on, radical, far-out forest mysteries that will shatter your tiny child-sized minds, Zach, we're going to go over some of the main things you'll need to know to conduct fully sanctioned, verifiable, Kids Corp grade investigations. First, let's review the 5 toes of Big Feet, just in case we're fortunate to encounter one in the world's many Bigfoot varietals. The first toe is, what is it? This means that first and foremost...
He really threw you into the deep end of the pool, my man.
The first toe is, what is it? This means that first and foremost, you need a physical description of each Bigfoot. And yes, Zach, it really is just as simple as, what does it look like? What is it? Is the big toe of Big Feet? The next toe, aka toe 2, is what does it do? Just like the second toe of the foot has a loose, limber quality to it, so does this broad category that's meant to describe each Bigfoot's identifying behaviors. Fuck you, Alex. What would your second toe be if you were a Big Feet? What would your second toe be if you were a Big Feet, Zach? When we asked your mom and dad, they said it would be reading comics and skateboarding like a little friggin' maniac. The third, or middle toe, of big feet is a little clunkier name-wise. But this toe tries to answer the question of, why is it? You see, some big feet are said to be naturally birthed creatures, but others are said to have more paranormal origins. So, wherever the foot may hail from, let's make sure the shoe fits when it comes to its supposed origin. Right, Zach? The fourth toe is the anchor toe of big feet, which answers the question, who saw it? This reminds us to explore real-world accounts from actual witnesses who claim to have seen these noble beings and who may have a unique perspective on things based on their experience. And finally, thank God, fifth, we have the toe, which balances out the first toe because they are on opposite sides. This toe doesn't ask, what is it? It asks, what is it really? In a real reality where big feet don't actually exist, sometimes knowing the mundane explanation for paranormal phenomenon can help us understand it better, whether it ends up being real or not. What about you, Zach? Are you real or not? What an interesting question it becomes the more you think about it, right? Or are you thinking about your favorite thing to read, Alpha Flight number 45?
Wow.
Shit.
Okay,
Who
I
the
guess.
hell is Zach?
So I guess the magazine used to like personalize little bits of the
Is it a
magazine
Deadly
for fun.
Premonition reference?
The
Like,
National
that's-
Chilluminati magazine
Yeah, I guess
for
you
Chilluminats.
you could like
would
fill out.
in this scenario
Yeah.
send a personalized Bigfoot guide
Yeah,
to a kid named Zach that not only knows about everything he likes, but also that his parents are involved in this
Yeah.
scenario.
I didn't realize that was in
Could
there.
there
That's
just
my
be
bad.
enough Zachs in 87? Could there
That
just
was
be
just
enough
like they
Zachs
picked
in
the most
87
common-
that they're like,
It was kind of a Zach. Yeah, it was a Zach.
It's the
thing.
most
Yeah,
80s
true.
name anybody could think of, not me. I didn't think of it. I didn't realize that was in there. That's my bad. Anyway, they review lots of other stuff at the beginning of the magazine to get all the kids ready for camp. But let's just skip all that for the moment. Get to
What
the
is
main
Alpha
event.
Flight 45?
Alpha Flight is a comic book from Marvel Comics. And to get to the main event, the article about Big Feet, which starts as always with the camp song, which I'll have Jesse read for us now.
Oh, I
Here's
get to
the
read a
camp
camp song? Lovely.
Yeah.
Wow. Man.
Does it have a tune, Alex? Is this,
No, it
this
just
one have
kind of
a tone
rhymes.
to it?
It just kind of rhymes. I bet you'll fall naturally into it.
Oh, Chilluminati Kids Corp Summer Investigation Course with Tree and Lake Beside. We will not leave one rock unturned. Your mysteries cannot hide. The big feet in your forests. The thing below the lake. No matter which tier of the camp we subscribe to, our third eye is wide awake. Oh, Chilluminati Kids Corp Summer Investigation Course through, though we seem odd. We're the pride of Good Lake Patreon in one big Chilluminati pod. Was that an ad? Did you just make me do a fucking ad?
That is so weird. That's such a weird name for a lake. They probably renamed that sometime in the 90s. Anyway, now that the ritual is complete, let's get on with the Big Feet. Shall we? Starting with...
Good job, Jepsy. By the way, that was also a cold read. Phenomenal job.
Yeah,
That was
shout
really
outs
good.
to all the
was
cold
good.
reads
That
that I
was
force
good.
everybody through on
the
this show.
first part felt very Taoist. It was very like,
Yeah, it was very friendly.
very
I was trying to summon-
monkeyan.
Yeah, I was going to channel whatever the song was going to be, but nothing came to me. So
You kind of got it. You kind of nailed it.
Your mysteries cannot hide.
So, let's kick off the list with number 5, because remember, the first 4 were way back in episode 171 in September of 2022. The Bukit Timah Monkey Man is the name of this Big Feet. And also, I want to say 1987 was a long time ago, so shout outs to Wikipedia, the Cryptid Wiki, Mothersip SG. I use those to confirm this entry's old-ass information. Which happens to get so weirdly anachronistic sometimes that I wonder what time period this information is actually from. I don't know. Maybe the authors of this information just want us to use our imaginations and have fun, but also want to use modern resources to do their research. Whichever one it is. But here's Mathis with the first 2 toes of the Bukit Timah Monkey Man straight from the guy.
What is it? The Bukit Timah Monkey Man, or BTM, is an upright bipedal ape with gray fur. The creature usually grows to between 1 and 2 meters tall, sporting a monkey face and often smelling like rancid ape urine. Just like you, Zach. And what does it do? According to most accounts, the BTM is mostly seen close to its forested home territory, but has commonly been known to venture close to human civilization for reasons of survival, like combing through the trash for food or walking alongside roads for safer travels.
So far indistinguishable from just like a guy out on the street who's going through the trash in most ways, for the most part. So that's what is it and what does it do? And here's Jacob for the next two toes.
I think we're making our guest work more than we ever have this episode. I love it.
I'm ready for it. I'm a professional. Why is it? The BTM hails from the 1.6 square kilometer Bukit Timah Rainforest Nature Preserve, which is surrounded on all sides by urban development and lies only 12 kilometers from the city center, and is regularly walked by visitors with plenty of opportunity to see it in action, who all commonly describe a beast who is fiercely territorial, but largely keeps out of the way if unprovoked. According to some versions shared in both fiction and supposedly non-fiction accounts, the BTM is also immortal, and there may be only one of them ever to have existed throughout time. Though little is written about its actual mythical or biological origins or its purpose on this earth. Who saw it? The legend of the BTM as it appears today largely stems from the accounts of Malay elders as far back as 1805 and Japanese soldiers who came through the area during World War II, all of whom describe a similar visual and behavioral pattern to the one described above.
Yeah. So thing has been in the area, but it's really weird. It's really weird because this if you look at this on a map, like on Google Maps, you go to the Bukit Timah Rainforest Nature Preserve. It's literally in the middle of straight up civilization. It's in city, and it's just a big piece that's just completely untouched in the middle of super overdeveloped Asian city. So it's weird that in a place so man-made that there's a Bigfoot that's been around for 225 years or 220 years. It's 12 kilometers from the middle of the city. The whole nature preserve is only 1.6 square kilometers. So obviously it's been in this area before the preserve, but it's almost like somehow it was preserved to house the Bukit Timah Monkey Man if he's an immortal. But that's just one way of looking at it, right? Also, before I get into the last toe, I grabbed a couple of accounts of the creature for you guys to read from the internet. So first one's for Jesse. I got it from the Cryptid Wiki. It's supposedly from an anonymous 48-year-old cab driver who lived in the neighborhood nearby called Serangoon at the time of the encounter. So that's your character.
It all checks out. Hey, yo! When driving my taxi past the fire station on Upper Bukit Timah Road, in the middle of the night, I hit what I thought was a child. Really, this is the guy I read?
Yeah.
I hit what I thought was a child. I can't believe that. That ran out in the middle of the road. I was on the car bonnet. It was on the car bonnet and then snarled at me. It was like a monkey, but so big. It ran off injured, covered in blood. Turns out wasn't that fucking immortal, Alex. And holding its arm, which was broken.
One time I was on my way to my mom's uncle's funeral, and we were all in a car dressed in suits, and this guy was riding on a bike, and another car right behind us clipped him, and he fell over the bike and just completely ate shit, and was wearing also a suit. And he got up, and we were like, "Oh my God, are you good?" And he was like, I'm fine. And he was all bloody, and he just kept biking, and he biked away. And I'll never forget that.
And then he showed up at the funeral. It was crazy.
He wasn't at the funeral. He just is in my memory. I think that was John Wick.
What else did you expect him to do? Did you expect him to just put the bike down and just sit for a
I
half
thought
hour?
he needed to go to the hospital. For the way he went down, I thought he needed to go to the hospital immediately. He looked like he fucking died. He looked like he was just I'm good. We were just
the
do you need
of him sitting there, just be like, I need a minute, guys.
we were like, do you need a ride? Are you good? But I don't know. Maybe that was the Bukit Timah Monkey Man. The BTM. Next one's from Mathis, who will be reading a quote from an anonymous 65-year-old retiree from Bukit Ranyang, who has memories of the creature when he was a kid.
It's like his best friend. He went out in the backyard, just played with him every day, the smelly monkey man.
Not exactly.
We were always told as children when in the kampong not to go near the forest at night due to the monkey man. Of course, we never saw it ourselves, but it was always some uncle or friend of the family who had seen it. Once we were shown these footprints near the forest road, and I remember the strong urine smell. Whenever we heard shrieks coming from the jungle, we would tell each other, "Don't disturb the monkey man."
So if you were in this specific sector of the preserved rainforest and you smell piss, look out.
So you see footsteps and piss. But it's the monkey man.
It is interesting that they say don't go near the forest at night because of the monkey man, because as we've seen with a lot of these cryptids that we do on this show, almost, I would say 80% of them exist just to be like kind of a warning, like a
cautionary tale.
Yeah. Like a little rule
Don't
to follow
go near
for
like
kids.
thin ice, tides, be careful of, that kind of shit.
Preventative force.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that shit worked. Like before you could Google that shit worked. And then finally, for the most recent sighting, which occurred in 2020, comes a quote Jacob's going to read from a Singapore night trekking group on Facebook called the Night Raiders, who supposedly encountered the BTM while out testing their paranormal detection gear. Also warning, these guys say BTMM instead of BTM, so prepare your ears for that. Here you go.
This year, one of our equipment specialists, Alfie, followed this particular group for a mission and also to test his paranormal equipment in his particular jungle. During that particular night, they witnessed BTMM, and our specialist managed to capture in a split second. He said BTMM this time is really huge. BTMM is another type of mystery creature called Bigfoot. Some people says it's a folklore. Some say it's a jinn, spelled DJINN. Whether you guys think that the photo is genuine or not, it is for your own opinion and imagination. At least we aware that BTMM is still around.
Cryptic, haunting
An account
language.
and a philosophy.
Yeah, it's not for your own opinion. It's for it. Whether you think it's genuine, it's for your own opinion and imagination, and we are aware that he's around. Believe what you want. He's out there. And then here's a link to the post, which I'll give you guys so you can actually see the photo evidence that they give of this thing. I mean, it's not nothing, but you guys can have a look and just see.
Not nothing.
It's not nothing. It looks kind of like a Grim Reaper. Like it looks like Elden Ring.
That's clearly some sort of lich creature rather than an ape man.
Yeah. It's embossed a little bit.
Okay, well,
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this is where the people who believe fail, because they fucking present shit like this, and it's just like, come on, bro, who are you fucking fooling?
Now you understand my pain with this entire show.
How dare you?
I'm like, yeah, look, I'm open to the idea, but every time we get any bit of evidence, it looks like this. And you're just like,
When it comes
what
to
are we
Bigfoot,
doing?
yeah, there's a lot of garbage evidence out there. There is that woman who says she, sucks the dick of Bigfoot and hangs out with him.
I would have loved to have seen footage of that. Nothing.
Yeah.
Didn't exist.
When I zoom in, it's pretty right there, but
Like I definitely see a figure. Yeah, I definitely see like something there. I wouldn't say that I immediately see that and think, "Oh, that's an ape, like a monkey." It genuinely looks like a skeleton like sculpture with like fabric over it. I don't know what else to say. But finally for the BTM, I'm going to read the pinky toe myself. What is it really? The one obvious glaring factor to consider when debating the BTM's existence is the rather large local population of monkeys in the area, most notably that of the crab-eating macaque, which other than being only 38 to 55 centimeters tall, bears a striking resemblance to BTM's alleged appearance. But really, it's up to you to decide, Zach. So, what do you think? Could someone really make such simple mistakes? Does the BTM exist? Do you? Does the Earth itself exist? Who knows? Have a banana.
How old is Zach? Why are we doing this poor kid?
I don't know how old Zach is. It's like when you buy an old record and it says, "This is Tony's" on the front or whatever. And it's like, you know, I don't know. Zach's probably 45 years old
You're
today.
asking a child if he's real. Well, you didn't. Obviously, the Chilluminati magazine did.
The publication.
Yeah, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I was gonna say like maybe give it to them young and let them spin out it when they're young, and then they're like don't worry about that bullshit when they're adults. Like, yeah, I thought about all that stuff and found out I was insignificant, and I just like went to high school.
Honestly, that's the true power of like
Then I went to
Doctor
high
Who
school.
and shit.
All I was gonna say is interesting how all different versions of Bigfoot seem to smell like piss. All of them. The Florida Swamp Man one, like every version of Bigfoot for some reason
Bigfoot's
just smells
stinky,
awful.
man. Bigfoot's is stinkies. They're all little stinky boys.
I don't think they're like. It doesn't seem like they're bathing.
No.
No.
But I feel like it's
Although
part
they
of
should.
their...
I'm sure they have access to a natural river. Like, it's probably good
I
for
feel
them.
like it's part of their... Like, maybe it's psychic. Like, maybe you just smell it.
Do we
as
have to
side
do a
effect.
deep dive on when bathing became like a thing?
Like, when people decided, oh,
Because
like, I
I
better
feel like
wash?
for a long portion of human history, people are like, nah, when I get wet, I get wet. But then at some point, they were like, dude, water makes you clean. They're
feel
like,
like it had to
hold
be a
up
long-
now.
I feel like it had to be a long time ago, because I've seen animals
Yeah,
take
so like,
baths.
when was the moment?
Yeah, I don't know. I would guess before...
You've seen what take baths?
Just like animals in general, like, are like, I better clean this off because I'm dirty.
For the purpose of taking a bath or for the purpose of something else?
Like, okay, like, for example, like, if my dog goes and, like, gets, like, some bullshit on him because he's rolling around in the grass, right? And there's, like, some water, he might, like, go in the water and, like, get it on him and shake off the stuff. And
Well,
he has
sure,
the
because
impulse
it's
to be
probably
clean.
either sticky or weird or like I understand the concept. I'm just saying, like, when was the flip where it was like, hey, we should take a bath on the regular instead of just whenever you feel a little gunky?
I think thousands of years ago. I think, like, people have been going
Sure,
down to the river. Yeah.
That's a deep dive I want to go on because it is kind of interesting that you could say, oh, it's weird that this guy doesn't, all the ape men don't bathe. But in theory, there was men who didn't bathe for quite some time. So it probably is just a natural thing,
I think
that
Bigfoot,
shouldn't be the weird thing about the monkey man.
I'm not hating on it. I ain't hating on it. I didn't say it was bad.
No.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying it's just a weird thing to...
Bigfoot.
It's a weird thing to say about the
maybe
the
when
ape
like a
men of the
Bigfoot
world.
smells another Bigfoot, they're like communicate, like they're talking, like maybe they can change their scent.
Yeah.
Really a lot. Like maybe that's the, how people say Bigfoot is
Didn't
like
they have a
psychic
scent
sometimes.
percent for when they're like horny?
Yeah, like maybe it's just like really
Actually-
powerful pheromones.
I want to adjust my statement here for maximum conspiracies. Just putting this out there in the world. You need to be able to smell the pheromones and things to communicate. So why would they cover themselves with things that smell like pee? Here's your answer. There's something else in the wild that's stalking them, and that's the only way they can hide.
It's like Predator. Yeah, got it.
They're hiding
From it's just like Predator.
Who
where
feeds the
Schwarzenegger pissed
big,
himself to say, yeah.
who feeds the big feet. Anyway,
There you go. You're welcome. There you go. Reddit. Have fun.
yeah, one thing I forgot to mention is that after each of the entries in the guide, there's always like a little extra activity called a footnote, which is a pun, but there's also an extra layer of fun that they add to the edutainment aspect too, right? So here's the first one. It's called footnote number 1, keeping you on your feet. Oh, okay, look, it's one of those multiple choice ones where the answer is just written upside down at the bottom of the page. So I'll read you it and then you guys can answer the question.
Wow. Okay.
Here we go. Ready? You think you know a lot about mysterious beings from Singapore, Zach? Well, can you guess the correct name of this familiar spirit from Malay folklore whose name translates to great spirit or high ghost, which it earned from its useful ability to transform into a physical copy of its owner and do undesirable tasks? Is it A, the Merlion, B, the Alibi Shade, C, the Hantu Rhea, or D, Yangon Pandang Belakang?
I want it to be the last one. Very badly. That name rules.
Yeah, A is
I just
Merlion,
want to hear Alex say D again. Yeah, for sure.
Yangon Pandang Belakang. I'm probably butchering
Awesome.
it, but that's what I think it is. So which one do you guys think it is? A, B, C, or D?
I would hate it if it's the alibi one. That sucks. It's too on the nose.
It's too
so
sick.
I'm going
Yeah.
with D.
D,
Fingers
Yangon
crossed.
Pandang Belakang. So it's actually C, the Hantu Rhea. Yangon Bandang Balakang is actually the name of a movie about
The Hawk-Tua, the Renda?
the Hawk-Tua Random.
Are they going to get a podcast on the Paul Network? Is this cryptid going to get a brand new podcast?
Yeah,
Is this
podcast
cryptid
is gonna
Pookie?
be-
Does it have a cryptid Pookie?
It's
I don't even
been
know
a
who
big
Pookie
year
is.
for this cryptid. 2024 was a huge
Hantu
year.
Raya? Yeah.
Big
But here's
year.
the thing about Hantu Raya. Hantu Raya, even though it's got a huge podcast, loves to be paid for its work with an offering of yellow sticky rice, eggs, roasted chicken, rice flake, and a doll. And if you end up hiring one to serve you, you should take that exact offering pretty seriously, because if you don't, it's been known to come after your beloved family members instead, and as such is sometimes blamed for death during childbirth.
Oh.
Pretty hardcore for
Wait, and
Okay, then.
Zach must be
and
real.
what did we have to leave out for this spirit?
You had to leave out
It sounded
sticky.
bomb.
Yeah, kind of tasty. Yeah,
Yeah,
sounds
yellow
fucking
sticky
good.
rice, eggs, roasted chicken, rice flake, and a doll.
Sounds
You
impeccable.
know what? For some reason, understand it all. It all clicks with me, and I'm here for it.
This thing,
Also,
you
not
don't get it.
expensive to save your family.
This thing can
pretty
do
cheap.
your farm work for you. If somebody's coming to look for you at the house and you don't want to talk to them, you leave this guy there instead. It's like a man crow. It's like a man crow for yourself. Okay, cool. That's one Bigfoot down. We got 3 Bigfoot left.
Is that guy hireable? Can we hire that guy?
The Hantu Raya, it's a Malay thing. So like if
Does
you
Hantu
go to
do
like
a
the
Raya?
Malay, does she do this? I don't think so. I think she's
Is Hawk-Tua on Only Cryptids?
Fiverr?
yeah,
Only
she's on there.
cryptids, fuck.
She's gonna
How
close
did
her
I not
account
know about
because
that
she's gonna
website
be
till now?
made the Secretary of State or something. Anyway, we got 1 Bigfoot down. We got 3 big feet left. What did we think of the Bukit Timah Monkey Man? Is it worthy of the name Big Feet? Is he an exciting varietal?
I think he sort of
No.
a little bit, but like
It seemed like average man sized. Didn't it just kind of give like an average Joe?
average
Dude.
feet? Average Joe foot?
let me wrap this. Only cryptids is an SCP.
It is.
Apparently. Yeah,
Yep.
it's an
SCP-4106.
Yep, a whole ass article about it and everything.
Yes, but it says it's been taken down from the dark web by the SCP because,
What's an SCP? Sorry, what is that?
SCP is, for the internet at large, SCP is kind of like they're doing weird conspiracy
The Federal
things, and
Bureau
there's-
of Control.
It's a government organization that controls like all the mystery things around the world. It's a collection of like really fun fanfic and there'll be a list of SCPs and you can claim one as yours, then write the story of what
a
it is.
collaborative
And
metaphor.
So
That's
it's
cool.
all over the place. Yeah, it's neat.
Metafiction?
Yeah.
Yeah. Interactive metafiction.
And then people will build off of it. Like, it's neat.
Now it's time for number 6. The Falk Monster.
Oh boy, I know this boy.
Yeah.
The Falk
The
Monster.
Falk, Falk?
Fouke, the Falk
This
Monster.
rock. So far, they've all been new.
Like you haven't heard him before?
I've never heard of MTB, and the Falk Monster is also new.
Yeah, we're gonna. I always try to find the ones that are the most cinematically interesting.
Did I say FTB BTM?
friends to benefits. Shout outs to falkmonster.net, Addict Salt on r/unresolved mysteries, Skeptoid podcast, and Encyclopedia of Arkansas.net for helping me verify all this information. And then I've got Jesse here for you with the first 2 toes of the Falk Monster. Here we go.
What is it? The Falk Monster, or Boggy Creek Monster, as it's sometimes called, is a huge, hulking Bigfoot-type creature who has long, dark, reddish-brown hair, ranges from 6 to 10 feet tall, weighing anywhere from 250 to a staggering 800 pounds. It also is known to smell pretty gnarly, like a skunk or a wet dog. And most importantly, it's giant. Big, stinky, 3-toed, hairy ostrich-style feet. Okay. And you know what? Look, you smell bad too, Zach. But at least you don't have bright red eyes the size of $50 like he does.
Give him until he's legal enough, and then he will.
What does it do? As we'll see later in our eyewitness account, the Falk Monster is one tough customer a nocturnal hunter. It's been known to swing its arms around madly like an insane gorilla as it gallops around its home territory of Falk in Miller County, Arkansas. Really? About 15 miles outside Texarkana. If you encounter something matching this description, steer clear. It's been known to brutally attack humans even while inside structures, and seems extremely hard to discourage once it's decided you're a threat, even with guns. Have you ever fired a gun, Zach? You will. What?
Whoa. Whoa.
What? Zach's got a lot to think about. So the main thing is this thing also smells like shit. This thing's huge.
Yep.
And the special thing about the Falk Monster that everybody always talks about is that it's got like hairy, like if you can imagine ostrich feet, it's like that, but they're like mammal. They're like mammalian ostrich. Some people draw it with like straight up.
Are you saying the
claws.
way in which they bend, or are you saying the
like
way
the
in
bottom,
which the
like
knees
the actual
bend?
foot? No, the actual foot is like, you know, like a 3, like a velociraptor or something.
But
Yeah,
the
like
leg
like
is,
dinosaur.
is like,
It's a monkey,
but the
just
leg
at the
itself
bottom
is the leg of like a man.
Yeah, and I've seen fan art with the reverse leg and all that too, but I believe that what they're saying is that it's a monkey that has hairy mammalian 3-toed ostrich feet that smell like shit.
Huh.
Yeah.
See, I thought this was going to be just based on pure judging a book by its name. I thought this was some sort of falconian, as in a bird. I thought this was going to be some sort of anthropomorphic bird thing because it was called the Falk Monster.
Sure.
And now I'm quickly realizing that Falk is just a place.
Yeah, but it does kind of have birdie feet in a way. Like you weren't
Birdie
totally
mammal feet.
out of nowhere. Here's Mathis with the next 2 toes.
Thank you so much to Hero Forge for sponsoring today's episode. Before I even get into why I love Hero Forge so much, their 10-year anniversary sale is still going on. The sale ends on November 30th, and you're looking at up to 20% off of all physical miniatures, 50% off of digital products. Listen, if you're a nerd, tabletop RPG guy like myself, you have a 3D printer at home, and maybe you don't want to buy the physical products, everything that they have is on sale, but the sale ends on November 30th. There, I got that out of the way. I want to make sure you knew that going into it. I've been using Hero Forge, God, now like 7 years, almost since the very beginning. I discovered them a little later, but ever since then, for my at-home campaigns, whether I'm a player or a DM, and I am a forever DM at this point, Hero Forge is where I go. And when I eventually got myself a 3D printer, I still went to Hero Forge to design my heroes and my villains and all kinds of stuff, and then just, buy the digital file off of them. Usually we have a code for a discount, but their sale is much bigger than the code discount that you usually get, so the code will not work in conjunction with the sale. So just use the sale. Again, you're looking at 20% off for physical miniatures, 50% off of all digitals. You got colored miniatures in there. You got color plastic, color statuettes, STL files, premium plastic, color standees, 3D digitals, basic plastic, pre-made digital packs, and so much. Just go check them out, heroforge.com. Check out their sales. If you've ever been interested in getting a mini for yourself, or maybe you're brand new to tabletop RPGs, I think you should just go check it out. The way you can make the mini on Hero Forge is actually just on the browser for free. You can just make your mini, and then if you want it, you can go ahead and buy it and whatnot. So anyway, go check it out, heroforge.com. Happy 10-year anniversary to them. And thank you again to them for sponsoring the episode. Why is it? As there's no primate species found anywhere near the area, not to mention that there's not a single species on Earth with 3 toes, or that all apes are diurnal rather than nocturnal, there's no real consensus on exactly how the Falk Monster came to be, and even though the sighting that put this creature on the map only occurred in 1971, subsequent research has shown accounts of consistent, though less publicized encounters with the creatures of a similar description in the area as far back as 1851. Isn't it weird that everyone from then is dead now, Zach? Who saw it? In 1971, Bobby and Elizabeth Ford were reportedly attacked by the creature in their home when he reached in at Elizabeth through a living room window with a big hairy arm. Bobby and his brother Don Ford chased the monster away by firing at and hitting it with a hunting rifle 7 times, even though the bullets never even drew any blood. Supposedly, in the aftermath, the house was said to have been surrounded by 3-toed footprints and broken vegetation, heading off into the woods. This kicked off a spate of sightings over the next 15 years, which continue to this day. Have you considered what role you'll matriculate into on your red 15th yet, Zach? Only 3 years of camp left. What is happening?
I don't know.
I'm starting to worry less about these big feet and more about what's happening in Zach's home life.
We're all a little worried for Zach, but he's going to be okay. Unfortunately, in looking this up, I found that other than easily fakeable footprints and trust me bro style stories, there isn't any reliable physical evidence for us to look at for the Falk Monster, but that's easily remedied. Though first, here I go with the pinky toe. What is it really? As we covered above, Zach, no primates of any kind are known to be found in the area around Texarkana, so it's probably not a mundane primate species being mistaken for a supernatural one. And ever since it was seen by a 14-year-old boy out squirrel hunting in 1955, the creature's description as a giant reddish-brown beast who sniffs the air, walks confidently towards humans, and doesn't react to birdshot when fired at has most commonly been attributed to a misidentified black bear, which has a very similar description, especially when on high alert. So, last time we did a Big Feet episode, we talked a lot about the black bear, because if you look at a map, and this is true, if you look at a map of Bigfoot heat sightings, and then you just overlay that with where black bears are at, it's pretty much 1-to-1, right? Black bears, when you think about them in your mind, you think about them as on 4 legs, you think about them doing all this stuff, but if you really follow and look at footage of black bears, they do a lot of standing, especially when balancing on trees. They sit on fucking logs. And the other thing that's crazy about bears in general is that they are one of the few creatures that is known for sure to like to sit and regard nature. So bears kind of can be seen in some kind of weird zones. If you're walking through the woods and you look and you see a bear kicking back on a log and enjoying the view, that feels very human. You know what I mean? It feels very man-like. And so a lot of Bigfoot stories can maybe be attributed to misidentified black bears. That's the Falk Monster. Bobby and Elizabeth Ford, their story is absolutely crazy. I really like the footnote for this one because it really we'll get into it. We'll get into it right now. This is for Jacob to read.
Footnote number 2, the Bigfoot screen. 15 years ago, in 1972, Charles B. Pierce docudrama horror film The Legend of Boggy Creek was released in cinemas and features real testimony and recreations based on eyewitness accounts by many people who supposedly actually saw and interacted with the Falk Monster in person. Included with the issue on the $20 tier is an exclusive video cassette featuring the theatrical cut of this classic work of big feet journalism. Also, since you're in the $20 tier, your mom said it'd be cool if we called you Z-Man. Now, you okay? If we called you Z-Man from now on. Okay, Zach? Sorry. I mean, okay, Z-Man?
So big developments for Zach, for sure. But obviously, we don't have the VHS that came with
call
this.
him Z-Man.
Oh, right, Z-Man, of course. Well, that's right, Z-Man. I don't have the VHS tape that was included with this magazine. The magazine was just sent to me loose in a padded shipping envelope, so I don't know where the VHS is. But if you will indulge me, let's include a link to this short 3-minute montage of the movie that I found online. We can queue it up together and live react to it like Mystery Science Theater, and I'll watch it together. It's just somebody restored it to 4K.
What is happening right now?
It's just it's just 3 minutes. This is real. This is real. This movie is real. Don't worry. This is a real movie. 3, 2, 1, go.
So loud immediately. Paloma Pierce Productions presents.
Pomula. I kind of love that name.
It's pretty great. The Legend of Boggy Creek.
This movie is actually kind of a hit.
It's
It
rock.
has 2 sequels.
Thing I'd ever seen. I thought at first it might be some kind of a wild man. I couldn't tell all that hair just what it
Quick,
was.
check the shotgun shell.
I changed my shells and my
Look at this.
Why would you take your shell out when that thing is standing right there?
The guy is talking is the real guy
He's
who
switching
saw
it up to a different type
and
of
you're-
shot, dude.
And you're seeing a dramatization of
I'd
it.
have had my rifle. I believe I could have knocked him down easy.
So now they're like practicing shooting or something.
Newspaper and television coverage resulted in nationwide publicity. He'd get the same reception.
That's their reaction to everything. In Skinwalker Ranch, we talked about it. Anytime something shows up, people just grab their guns and just start shooting it.
Yeah. And in this case, it didn't do any damage, and he just kept coming.
Just like the giant wolf on Skinwalker Ranch, or the goblins from, what was the name of that initial?
Hopkinsville.
Yeah, Hopkinsville Goblin, exactly.
I just don't think I'm going to outrun this thing, you know?
No way.
Yeah, this thing is, this one is like
I'm making it.
one of the bigger ones, I believe. Maybe not. Maybe I'm mixing.
How would you chase after it?
Does this
I don't
little
know.
boy on screen have a name?
I think it's Zach.
I was about to say, are we watching Zach right now?
Is this Zach like getting ready to fire his gun?
This is Z-Man, dude.
Get out of there, Z-Man. You can't shoot him.
Fuck, dude.
It kicks already went down. Oh! Did you see it go down on his knees?
I love that
That shotgun
noise.
wanted to fucking dislodge that little boy's shoulder.
Oh yeah, here he's going for the window.
He's back.
He's creeping now.
It's coming on the porch, man. Oh, and now it's daytime.
This is really, like, if you have a chance to watch this, I watched like half of this movie. Such a vibe.
1972 documentary. You can find it on YouTube, in fact.
Yeah,
whole thing.
It's like
Legend of Boggy
6 minutes.
Creek.
it's like that fucking shitty ass movie that you made us watch about Bigfoot, except it's like real.
You mean Suburban Sasquatch?
Yeah, dude.
That
movie,
shitty movie.
Yeah, an amazing movie.
That movie sucked, man. But yeah, this movie looks beautiful. It's like shot on film. It has like really good cinematography. And if you have a chance, I really recommend The Legend of Boggy Creek if you're really into the Bigfoots. Like, I think it's probably like the coolest thing you can watch if you're like into Bigfoot legit. Like, I don't know if there's a sicker wreck.
It looked like, just from like a cool place to film a movie standpoint, it seemed pretty cool. Wooded, boggy, like truly spooky and odd. Yeah. Do you think like maybe this was just like one of those like prehistoric bird situations where it's like not a Bigfoot at all, but because people just like it's kind of like just like part of Bigfoot is just kind of like a umbrella term was the word I was struggling to find, where it's just like, it was something I didn't understand in the woods. So like the feet thing, the talon thing is really sticks out with this guy, with me. And I'm just thinking like, it just feels like some big bird that you didn't quite understand.
Yeah, you thought it was like maybe like an ape man because you never really looked all the way at it. And it would make sense.
Yeah,
like,
it was like quick, and you're like, well, when the things you don't know in the wood is Bigfoot, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, and if it reached in the
talons
window
interest
with
me.
an arm, yeah. And it's funny you should say that because you're kind of talking about almost like the Loch Ness monster, right? How people are like, is it a plesiosaur from like the dinosaur era, like somehow still alive? And it's like kind of similar sometimes with Bigfoot, but we'll look a little bit closer at that now when we kick off the second half of the long-awaited Bigfoot duology with number 7, The Grassman.
The Grassman sounds like every one of us, actually.
If you know about Bigfoot, you probably know about The Grassman.
Jobless.
I love the name on The Grassman. Without getting too far into it, he seems like he's going to be pretty chill. Shout out to the Cryptids Wiki, the Perry Tribune, Astonishing Legends, History.com, which I use to verify all the information in this old kids magazine that is very real. Here is Jesse with the first 2 toes of Big Feet.
Grassman.
What is it? The Grassman, or Ohio Grassman, or Kenmore Grassman, or simply Orange Eyes, is a fairly standard North American Bigfoot varietal, though sometimes it's said to be the largest member of the family. It's described almost as a gorilla that stands up straighter, ranging in height from 5 to 10 feet, and ranging in weight from 300 to 1,000 pounds. This one stink has been described as smelling like rot. The black-brown hair on its head grows so long you can barely make out its neck. It has big, deep-set, glowing red-orange eyes, and has supposedly been heard growling with heavy breaths and the cry of a baby. All right, and the scream of a woman. Are you a baby, Z-Man? Didn't think so. Wait, so this thing goes baby cry, woman cry, growl.
Yeah. It's been heard doing all of
this thing can do it all. This guy's got range. What does it do? These apes have sometimes been seen hiding in caves where they stash the crudely butchered dog and deer corpses they get when they go hunting, but are more known for the strange teepee-like structures they build from the long Ohio grasses, said to be both extremely aggressive and supernaturally strong, and travel in groups of 5 or more through the area around the village of Minerva in Columbiana County, Ohio.
Why, oh, why, oh, why, oh. Why did I ever leave Ohio? This is what they're saying. This is what the Grassmen are asking.
Yeah, I can give you like 12 reasons why people leave Ohio. Like, easy, off the top of my head.
I like the fucking sound of this guy, this Grassman, man. He's fitting right in. He's got all the sauce. He's chilling with his homies. He's got the pack mentality, which feels very true Sasquatch to me. I don't think they're...
If I had to be one of these, I would want to be this guy.
Just for the record, this area of Ohio is like between, I want to say Akron, but it's right along the border with Pennsylvania near Pittsburgh. And it's straight up forest. There's nothing there. So if there ever was going to be a Grassman, he would definitely hang out in that spot.
Yeah.
There's nothing in Minerva.
And I love that this guy has like things. I love that he like builds little like Bigfoots. Like that's like how all the stories go with this guy is like you people tell it on Reddit or something, because this guy's one of the more popular ones. Like people claim to see this guy a lot. Like they'll be like, I was walking through the woods and then I saw a little hut. I got so freaked out because I knew there was one.
I must
nearby.
stress for the record, the skeptic side of me. I just want to point that one time in high school in Ohio, senior year of high school, myself, I've explained this story a million times, and I'll say it again just for the record on this episode. Myself and one of my friends took 2 girls out to go camping, obviously for the purposes of,
Nature.
getting to know each other, right?
Like one of them black bears
Anyway,
walking around looking
the
at nature.
4 of us are out in the woods. We're all being like, definitely not drunk teens. And we were being very upset. We did homework, very upstanding.
Yeah.
And
cool.
At a certain point,
awesome.
as we were setting up the tent, 4 dudes just walk out the woods looking like they walk out the woods and have lived in the woods. And they're like, so y'all camping here? And from that point on, we were no longer camping there. So I'm just saying, there's just dudes who live in the woods in Ohio. And it's like a thing. And so if you find something built in the woods, I would absolutely believe that's just a guy rather than like the Grassman.
You think the Grassman is just like an explanation for like guys off the grid in Ohio?
I mean, I'm
old orange
positive
eyes. Yeah.
Yes, I fundamentally, because I think this is the first time we've seen in the history of us doing this where it's like someone constructs something.
For Bigfoots, for sure.
Right? Like
yeah.
usually it's we have no evidence of them ever existing. Just random sightings. This one's like they leave behind homes.
Yeah, these ones and a couple other ones do things like this too, which is kind of interesting. Like I don't like when you get deeper into the woods of Bigfoot, you find that they have like societies. Some of them have like alien connections. Depending on which authors you follow, right?
But
like,
is that
find all these
us
crazy
imprinting on like our ideals onto them? Like, well, there's 5 of them. Surely they're a family. You know?
Very well could be. I've seen Arrival. I know what's up. I know how to. Some things
maybe we will never
seem.
Understand the feat, big or otherwise.
Context. I think the smells are like talking. That's what I think. I think they talk with their mouths to communicate with us, like how cats learn to talk, like how to learn how to meow. Like cats don't meow
butt
unless
sniffing
it's
with dogs. Is that what you're saying? Like the dog will be like, "I recognize your scent."
But more like how Professor X and Jean Grey talk, but just to butt smells.
But it
smells
psychic stink. Is that what like
psychic stink?
Yeah,
Hell yes.
I think they can talk like
"Damn,
in
dude."
real time by smelling.
That is a way in which everybody else communicates, though. Like
That's what I'm saying.
let us not forget that Aside from humans, dolphins, and maybe an octopus or something, nobody's really figured out language. So that is how a majority of beings communicate, with like body language and their fucking weird juices.
Yeah, so as the ultimate druid, maybe the Bigfoot is just the other side of the human coin. You know what I'm saying?
What? So is this like this area? Is it wooded or is it like grassland, prairie? Like, what am I?
It's forest.
Paint me a little picture.
It's a mix. It's not a lot of city. I literally just Googled to make sure. Yeah, it is Akron.
Jesse's from Columbus,
so
by the
it's between Akron,
Yeah.
south of Youngstown, and then kind of closer towards Pittsburgh, right on the border with Pennsylvania. And it's just kind of forest and grassland there. Most of Ohio is just forest and grassland.
There's high grasses, but there's also trees. But the long grass is like characteristic of the area, which is how they make these huts, supposedly.
If you Googled Minerva, you would see it's kind of like what you imagine small town USA when you think of like the one road with everything kind of on it. It's that vibe. Everything looks like it's from 1950.
Old school.
Why is it? Though the Grassman as we know it emerged from the woods in 1978, well-documented sightings go back as far as 1869. Many Bigfeet-related sources refer to an indigenous tribe in the 1700s, possibly the Delaware tribe, leaving offerings in the area for beings known as the Wild Ones of the Woods. And while there are some references to similar stuff we found in the culture of other tribes in other parts of the U.S., this one's just not specific enough to nail down. Who saw it? In the summer of 1978, Evelyn and Clayton? Were dealing with the discovery of the family German Shepherd's body with a broken neck just a few days before, when their grandchildren came in screaming with tales of an ape man going through the trash in a gravel pit outside. Over the new few weeks, it kept returning to the house and terrorizing the Clayton family, with footprints constantly being discovered around their home and a horrible smell descending upon them while they hid inside for safety. Of course, they stink. Later, they even saw two of the creatures cresting a hilltop a ways off. These sightings resulted in a media circus, and the Grassman became one of the most famous Bigfeet in the Midwest. As all these things do, they always become some huge media fest back then.
Grassman is like synonymous with Bigfoot to a portion of this country. Like, Grassman is one of the bigger ones. It's really interesting. Like, they basically, the way the story's often told, like from a like storytelling standpoint, is they tell the story of like the kids come in, they say, hey, there's this thing in the pit. They look and they find it. They go see what it is. It's a Bigfoot. And they like start to like try and discourage it. It doesn't really care about them, like trying to discourage it. They fire, like all kinds of, they try to get rid of it. They try to scare it away. It's completely undeterred. And then they realize after the fact that also it was probably the ape that killed their dog a couple days ago. Is like how they always reveal that. But I just did it in the correct order.
When he read this, I just couldn't help but think like of Bigfoot, like seeing like native indigenous tribes and like mad chilling and like having a relationship and like, and that's why like those like, it's like, I don't know, you hear about it pretty much like at every, nomadic tribe ever, there is some sort of like Bigfoot lore. And then like colonialism came around and Bigfoot was like, these guys are kind of lame. Yeah, and they like started dodging.
These guys are jerks.
Fuck these guys.
It's just so funny that it was like, the guys who like hunt and gather and like have small tribes are pretty chill, and like we have common stuff to talk about, like the seasons and like Earth. And how it moves.
Swear these guys used to smoke me out, dude. What the hell?
Now they're just trying to shoot me with a gun. What the fuck?
Why are you dressed, bro? You've changed. What is that, a logo? The hell? Why does he sound like Rolf? Before I move on to the Picky Toe, let's check out this clip from I Believe, the show Monster Quest.
Always a good source.
I think it's the show Monster Quest. I don't know what show it's from because they don't actually say what show it's from. But it has some footage of a Grassman sighting by a man called Don Keating in 1992. I would watch the first 45 seconds or so and then skip to about 120 if you don't want to just watch a bunch of talking heads. But this is just footage that we can like kind of talk about. You can kind of see it. I think, honestly, it's pretty good for what it is. That's what I'll say about this. This, for
I don't
what
like
it is,
the bit there at the end for what it is.
like, I mean, it's from 1992, right? Like, it's
a
like
qualifier that isn't really that great.
I'm just saying, it's like a video recording from 32 years ago. Like, it's pretty good considering.
That was great. Doosh, the sound effect that just comes in when you see a little white blob moving across the back.
You can barely see it.
The biggest issue I have with this is, one, what's the purpose of the filming? Why was a camera rolling? Two, the very obvious person walking in the background, why does the camera then immediately move away from that?
This guy's a Bigfoot hunter.
A lot of questions.
This guy's a Bigfoot hunter, so he was there to find it.
So, but he saw something and then turned the camera away?
I don't think he saw it.
Sounds like shenanigans to me.
I don't think he saw it in the moment. I'm not sure what the story is there, but it's very, like, it looks like something in the background, but it just could very well be a dude. Like, I don't know. Like, the zoomed in pic is so fucking blurry, it's like almost comical.
They got like 7 people talking about this white blob.
Yeah, like for real.
They got like 8 talking heads on this.
It feels like just a guy in the background that they caught on camera.
Yeah, I don't know.
Case
but yeah,
analysis.
that's one of the most famous clips of the Grassman, one of the most famous Bigfoots ever. And we used to play cards with these motherfuckers, and now they won't even talk to us.
Come back. Some of us are chill, I promise, Big Feet.
I have heard one argument. There was a guy that I met, really cool dude, and he had a bunch of land in Eastern Oregon, and he had like trail cams on it, and he presented me photos of Bigfoot and photos of fairies. I'll address the latter first, in that they were the most real piece of convincing evidence I've ever seen for something in the supernatural. It was completely unexplainable, and I left confused and jaw dropped. But all of the Bigfoot, I should email him and get I'll see if I can get a pic. All of the Sasquatch stuff was like so clearly bunk, and like no, and like you're looking for something out of nothing, and like rose my skeptic meter. And
the fairies blew you away, but the Bigfoot was sus.
The fairies was one of the most real things I've ever seen captured on a photograph. I'm not even being like, I'm not even doing a bit. I'm not being silly. It was a small humanoid creature with wings radiating pure golden light in the middle of the forest.
The fuck? The hell? I just want to experience a fraction of what you've been around, have people that have been around, friends of. Good God.
So, but he's showing me all the Bigfoot stuff, and I was like, man, this is kind of like not like, this all just kind of seems like a deer's ass or like something falling. And he just was like, they're tricksters. They're tricksters. They know how to manipulate the camera. They know how to make it more blurry, the footage, like, and they're teasing us, and like it's funny to them.
They're inside,
and that's kind of what this video reminded me a little bit of, is that guy's angle of like, well, they're ne'er-do-wells, they're nasty little tricksters, so that's why.
He knew it was going to be bad evidence. He got me
It
so
definitely
good.
sucks when we have a lot of video footage, things that we'll watch on this show that looks awesome. I don't know if it's real or not, but like from a video standpoint, like, yo, that's really cool looking. And you'll see something bizarre, or like a person talking to someone, and they'll be like, there was a person in the room, but the camera shows no one, that kind of thing. Very interesting stuff. But then you'll see stuff like this and be like, we gotta stop giving this. Like, this sucks. This shouldn't be here. This is on the same level. We should do a show about it.
Least evidence out there is for Bigfoot for some reason. Like, Bigfoot is such a crazy one to me because it's so popular.
Because it's probably most likely, like you were saying, a bear or some type of other, like, if you just, everyone at home, Google bear without fur or bear without hair. That's weird looking.
Bigfoot,
and, there's all sorts of crazy animals that could look different
like
ways.
Fucking dozens of hairless bears. Like, that's an anomaly.
Right.
Sure.
How many
Bigfoot feels like it should be real. When I think about Big Feet, or I think about like one of the other, like the Jersey Devil, One sounds like a real creature that exists on Earth, and the other one sounds like the Jersey Devil. You know what I mean? Like, the Bigfoot makes sense to me logically. It feels like it could exist more than most cryptids. Some, like, biologically. Isn't that weird? I don't know. Here's
there's
the
no.
Well, it's 'cause I think it's because we also already have gorillas and apes and monkeys around, so it's easier for our brain to look at the next like bigger monkey thing that's kind of close to us and be like, yeah, I can see that happening.
Yeah. But if they are super intelligent, you never know. Like, they could be totally on top of it.
They also could all be part of the same phenomena, the trickster phenomena, fae, aliens, big feet, hauntings.
He thinks it's something that
Just a bunch
shows
of
us what we
pranksters.
want to see. He says he thinks it's something that's showing us what we want to see by reading our minds.
It plays with our consciousness when it presents itself, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, or he knew like nobody would buy it. Smart enough to be like, it's too blurry. I'm just too far away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that, yeah,
Got
or
him.
that.
I got him
I'm
so
safe.
good. I'm 61 yards away. We're perfect. Okay. Here's the Grassman's pinky toe. What is it really? Despite any real physical evidence of this big feat's existence, the most likely reason why the locals would continue to perpetuate this rumor is that over the years, a large portion of the area's tourism economy has been based around the creature, with the nearby area hosting multiple Bigfoot-themed festivals, research conferences, nature events, not to mention the multiple films and television shows based on the creature. There's no obvious animal besides the generally likely black bear who could be mistakenly identified as the Grassman, but a grainy photo isn't enough to say this thing isn't a hoax either. I don't know, Z-Man. Sometimes it just seems like people have to be dishonest if they want to make money in this world. He's learned a lot of lessons, this guy.
Yeah, this is
From
the
one
meta story of
issue.
Zach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zach's
and then-
growing up.
Yeah, Zach's grown up quick, all through the course of one Bigfoot seminar. Here's the footnote number 3 for Jacob to read.
Footnote number 3, Big Fool. We're going to read off the names of 4 more big feet, 3 real and 1 fake. All you have to do is correctly pick the fake one. Easy enough, Z-Man. And when you get it right, that'll be the perfect chance to try your classic catchphrase, custom response removed for vulgar language. Ready. Is it A, the Octosquatch, B, the Boston Bahumagash? Bahumagash? Bahumagash.
Yeah, Bahumagosh.
C, the Abominable Swamp Slob, or D, the Baseballer's Ape?
Yeah, which one of those is fake?
Correctly pick the fake one.
Yeah, correctly pick the fake one. Is it the Octosquatch, the Boston Bahumagosh, the Abominable Swamp Slob, or the Baseballer's Ape?
I want to say Boston Bahumagosh.
That sounds like something Alex would definitely make up.
I mean, I did live in New England for the first 30 some odd years of my life, and I've never heard of the Boston Bahumagosh.
That's pretty good data.
I've
I've also not seen a lot of movies, so you can't really trust me.
That is 100%
Baseballer's Ape feels so fake to me. But some of these are so insane that like the fakest is real.
Yeah.
know?
I'm going to say 100% it's C. Because
You
the
think
word
Abominable
slob,
Swamp Slob?
I don't see being used to describe one of these
Slob.
guys. Slob stands out to me as an
Humagash
Alex
feels
Fosse.
real enough.
Yeah. But Humagash, I don't, like, that seems fake, but the word slob stands out to me in a way that, like, I don't
Sure.
think anyone would call the creature the slob.
Okay, what's everybody's final answer?
Mine's B.
Mike's going
C,
B,
for
Jake.
sure.
Jesse's going C.
I'm gonna lock in. I'm gonna lock in D.
D. All right. According to the article, the correct answer was D. The Baseballer's Ape is not a real Bigfoot.
baby. Yeah,
Well,
my
let's-
state.
the Octosquatch
Well,
is insane. I hate it.
I was going to say, let's talk about the Octosquatch for a second.
Yeah, what?
I ended up doing a little looking into the Octosquatch just because we got to know what the deal is, right? One night in the summer of 1961 in Vizcaya, Spain, a truck driver named fucking Archimedes Sanchez was driving through these crazy roads you see in the Basque Mountains until his high beams landed on a strange form at the base of the embankment across the road that left him and his partner speechless. Here's Jesse with a quote from the Cryptids Wiki from about Archimedes
I was Googling
Sanchez.
Boston and Bahumagosh, and it's a thing, all right.
It's a thing.
That's wild. I've never heard of it.
Sanchez would later describe this as a 3 to 4 foot tall, hairy octopus with a shaggy coat of rust-colored hair. The creature hastily covered its round, glowing eyes with one of its 4 tentacles like appendages, but remained unable to move, caught in the truck's headlights. Neither the truckers or this creature moved for what the men estimated for several minutes. Fear got the best of Sanchez, and he ordered his comrade to attack it with a jackhammer they had, and he was met with refusal. Sanchez decided to make his move. He threw the truck into reverse, then drove straight towards the entity, stopping mere feet in front of it. Sanchez repeated this several times, but never exited the vehicle. After a while, another truck passed by, and the driver may not have seen it as he did not slow down or turn around. They eventually reached a standstill. Neither man was willing to escape the vehicle, and the furry being was either unable or unwilling to escape. It was near midnight, and they realized there was nothing more they could do. They finished their run and left it behind. By the time Sanchez revealed his story, all evidence of the creature was long gone.
The Octosquatch.
Shit.
What the hell was that?
I don't like him.
What the hell was the fucking Octosquatch?
You know, at least it's a better story than the Boston, whatever the hell that guy is. That if you go to that wiki, it literally is like, some time ago, it was reported in the Boston area that an ape man was there. There is no evidence. Like, that's it. Like, that's the entire wiki.
That's
Wow.
pretty much what it feels like to look up any of these big feet in some way.
It's true. That's very true.
Back in the day,
like-
there wasn't a lot going on. News was different.
Yeah. They're like an ape man, perhaps.
And perhaps. And that's where it ended. That's the whole story. And then it persisted for 100
I mean,
years.
as we've learned, they were making up news stories. My favorite one is the one that's like, ancient Egyptian city in the Grand Canyon. And it was like a real news story. Yeah.
A single Marine soldier guarding the entrance.
With an
at all
M16.
times.
Keep it secret. Yeah.
To keep it secret.
All right. With that strangeness out of the way, let's finish this thing, baby. It's time for number 8, the Manda Burang. The Manda Burang. Shoutouts again to the Cryptids Wiki, the independent.co.uk, and the naturalstuff.co.uk for helping me corroborate this stuff. Here's Mathis with the first 2 toes of the Manda Burang.
What is it? The Manda Burang has been described as an Indian Yeti, a large ape-like creature with thick black-brown hair who's commonly mistaken for a man at a distance. And once again, this thing stinks to high heck. They are mostly seen around the tropical rainforests of Garo Hills, very near to the Bangladeshi border, and grow to between 7.5 to 9 feet tall and weigh around 650 pounds, and has been described as appearing fairly similar to the extinct Gigantopithecus? Gigantopithecus?
Yes.
Genus of great ape. What does it do? The Manda Burang is bipedal, on 2 legs, and unlike the grassman who builds structures among the high grass, these big feet build on open ground, and even though it has immense strength, for the most part it's shy and harmless, keeping to itself and foraging for bananas, tubers, berries, tree bark, and crabs to stay fed, especially in late fall, early winter. However, Z-Man on... Don't look at me. However, Z-Man, on January 18th, 1999, one villager was approached by a Manda Burang in the woods who forcibly made the man suckle his breasts. No one's sure why exactly, but the man was quoted as saying, quote, "The milk was sour with a mixture of bitterness." See, I would have just done it willingly. It would have been no forcing. Where else are you going to get an opportunity to not only see a giant ape man, but also suckle from their teat? Never. It'll be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Say yes.
Staring into his eyes and him staring at you and you trying to figure out
I want them to understand how thankful I am for the opportunity.
You
even if
just
it's
trying
a
to figure
mixture
out what
of
it
sour and bitter.
wants. It trying to get you to understand that it wants you to suck its titty.
Only
It, like,
able to speak in
like,
groans.
giving you the titty. It like just it's so wild to think about somebody sucking a Bigfoot's nipple, like meeting it on a road
The
at
more
night.
you talk about it, the funnier it is.
I don't know, man. Did you not see The Last Jedi?
I did see The Last Jedi. What
He
is that?
not what I
sucked from
thought
the
you were gonna
giant. He
say.
sucked from the titty milk of the giant like creature there.
I forgot. Yeah, you know what? That was just a small detail.
you
in the
forget
film.
about that?
I did. I genuinely did forget about that.
How'd you forget? This is like one of the worst, like,
I've
some of the most horrible
seen.
scenes in the movie.
You've only seen 12 movies, so you got them in there in memory, all committed. I used to work at Blockbuster Video. I've seen every movie.
Yeah, Luke Skywalker suckling the tit of a giant, like, water creature.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch Sasquatch Sunset? I believe there's some suckling in that.
Holy
movie.
shit! No, what is that? Now we have
End of Grapes of Wrath.
Sasquatch Sunset's like an indie movie that was filmed in in Oregon with like Jesse Eisenberg. Where they're all-
yeah.
No, it's
No,
a
I didn't
good.
see it.
Oh
Yes,
yes,
but they have no dialogue. It's just them.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
Big
fuck,
feet.
we have to watch that for Rotten
I
Pops.
forgot that
Interesting, yeah.
exists. Yeah, I gotta see that.
too.
It's like pretty fucking rad. I like saw it in theaters. It kind of got me. It was beautiful. Kurt and I thought we were gonna go see like a funny like monkey slapstick movie, and then it was like
Emotional.
it's just so much more than that.
That's when Stomp the Yard was sold out, so we went and saw Children of Men, and we like left the theater like
It's a forever change.
we're like,
Just,
oh, we'll
like,
see
could
this. It's
not
playing.
see a movie for some reason.
Yeah. We were like, oh, let's just go. We're 18 years old. All right. This one's for Jacob. The next two toes. The word that you're gonna have trouble with is pronounced. The word that you're gonna have trouble with is pronounced Gigantopithecus blackeye.
Why is it traditionally Gigantopithecus blackeye? Gigantopithecus blackeye.
I'll take it.
I'll just do it one more time, and you can just kind of
Yeah.
slap it in there when it. Yeah,
Just make the best you can.
Gigantopithecus blackeye. Why is it traditionally Gigantopithecus blackeye? Is an extinct 300,000-year-old giant ape who we only know about today from its fossilized jawbones and teeth. But when you consider that it lived alongside animals back then, like the Asian elephant, the Asian tapir, and the giant panda, it's tempting to believe that maybe a Gigantopithecus or two survived in the jungles of India this long too. Who saw it? In addition to the mysterious breast-suckling encounter in 1999, since the early 2000s, there's been pretty regular sightings of the Manda Burang, where its behavior and living habits have been safely documented without any aggression or harm towards human observers.
Yeah. So this is exactly what you were talking about with the bird, with the Falk Monster. It's like the Gigantopithecus blackeye is literally, if you look it up, it's literally like an orangutan that's like double. Just like in all ways, the Bigham's orangutan. And so it's very similar to the Loch Ness situation where they're like, oh, it's just a prehistoric creature that's lived. So that's like one vector for Bigfoot in general. Obviously, there's like space alien vectors and dimensional vectors and all kinds of different vectors through which Bigfoot it can explain their, it's all about explaining the scarcity, right? It's about explaining why you don't see these around if they're out there, right? And so that's one of the vectors is the like resuscitated or like long surviving ancient species. Yeah. And yeah, there's lots of encounters with this thing, but nobody ever gets attacked or anything. And actually, I went digging a little deeper on this one.
I want to believe, as much as I want to believe that like Bigfoot is real, I also want to believe that maybe not anymore, but definitely at certain points there were like those exception species that lived beyond major extinctions. Like
Totally.
I want to believe that seems cool. That's like a fun flavor for Earth to have.
Yeah, like when the like 1800 story goes into like a crack in the earth, and there's like big plants that are giant size carrots and like like up or something.
Yes, dude.
Anyway, I went deeper into this. I found some pretty interesting encounters. Like they said that there's a lot of them, so I went looking to see if I could find some cool ones. Here's Jacob again with a little more from independent.co.uk.
The team members roll off a list of sightings. In 2003, Nelbisen Sangma, a local hunter, said he had watched the Manda Burang from across a valley for 3 consecutive days. In 2005, at a village called Rongri, the creature was said to have entered a hut occupied by a widower and her young child. The creature had stamped out the fire and sat down, but had not harmed the woman, who was too terrified to run. Another man told them how, as a boy, he had seen the severed hairy red arm of an unknown creature for sale in a remote market.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? These things seem to be so part of the way this, I've been reading a lot about big feet, Asian big feet, and Western big feet. And the big difference for me between the Asian and the Western big feet is that the vibe of the Asian big feet is that there's people out there that like know about and live in a world where these things are out there, and they like have harmony in society with them. And the Western big feet, they try to kill the Bigfoot. The Bigfoot, there's like one left or whatever, or they do kill it or whatever. And the only people that have ever hung out with them over here on this side of the world are the indigenous tribes that were here before us. And that's, to me, like the big difference. So like the idea of them finding a severed arm in a market for sale as if it's not a big deal is like, that would never happen in an American Bigfoot story, for example. And just in case you're interested in what the vibe is like with the Manda Burang, here is some photos from another expedition to find this thing from an adventurer and cryptid hunter called John McGowan. He didn't find much, but there's pictures of what he did find, and I feel like that makes it even more legit.
Now, does this exist outside of India, like, or is it like once we kind of get into like China or Nepal or anything like that, like the name changes and the lore is slightly different?
It'll be a different creature. Like this one is like that's another thing about these ones is that like they have a name and they're from like a region, and then people go look for it in that region, and that's where it's at. So that's kind of like the way these work. Yeah. So this guy literally went there. Like,
whereas like in the Western Bigfoot, it's everywhere. It's all over the U.S.
It's just kind of like, like I seen a Bigfoot, and they call them different things, but they're not really that different in the same way. And a lot of the ones in Asia also kind of intertwine with the folklore a little more. But if you go on this website, The Natural Stuff, and you check out his photographs, which we'll put in the show notes, there's also 3 pages of like dense language of him like on the expedition to see the Manda Burang. Like if you go on the left side and go to Manda Burang,
I mean, it's got to be so cool, like getting down on the ground and talking to the locals. That's going to be so cool.
That's like, and he has so many stories of talking to them, and so many people said so many different things, and you got to wonder, like, what the fuck were all those people talking about? Like, if this thing is just straight up fake, like, what the fuck are they talking about? Like, why do they have these stories? Yeah.
There's a million things it could be.
Yeah, exactly. And now, as we slide home for the day, I will read the last pinky toe myself. What is it really? First of all, it's worth mentioning that Gigantopithecus blackeye's closest living relative today is the orangutan, which are commonly found in Borneo and Sumatra in similar environments, and it's easier to believe a mundane animal from today traveled 3,500 miles to India rather than an extinct species that's still alive today. So that makes sense. Like, it could be just a mistaken orangutan, and it's not like orangutans are from the area, but they're closer than an extinct, ape that we only know about from its jawbones.
Yeah.
And also, since I did a little extra research into this, it's worth noting that Manda Burang hair samples had supposedly been collected sometime around 2008, and they were submitted for DNA testing in the United States. And it turned out to actually belong to a goaty antelope animal local to the Himalayas, which is also not exactly here, known as a goral or a goral. So yeah, not really sure how those got into the mix of like investigating the Manda Burang, which is like a hyper regional creature. But they had the fur, they checked it, and it was goat fur. So that's where we'll leave the good old Big Feet number 4. And now we'll go into our very last footnote of the night, which Jesse will read for us right now. Here we go.
Footnote number 4, Big Food. It's dinner time on Monkey Mountain, and all the big feet we've covered today are invited. For this last nice little creative writing exercise, imagine you're treating each of these noble beasts to an appetizer, a main course, and a dessert. What would they be? Use your imagination, Z-Man, and don't get so excited for camp tomorrow that you forget to listen to your nocturnal education tapes while you sleep. What?
Dude, I don't know. Z-Man's got the camp is rigorous, man. They really want you to be a good investigator. Okay, so let's go through this. You got to come up with an appetizer, a main course, and a dessert that you would serve to each of the cryptids that we've gone over today. So we're going to start with the Bukit Timah Monkey Man, the BTM. What's he get? He's the one who smells like piss.
Wasn't he getting like yellow? He's got to get yellow rice and shit, right?
No, that's the
Isn't he the one with the meal?
He's
That's
that's
the spirit.
that's the other spirit that was in the footnote.
Yeah.
But yeah, the
This
monkey man
smells like pee.
Yeah, the monkey man himself just smells like pee, and he kind of like just is a kind of aggressive sort of
Breakfast, bacon, egg, and cheese, salt, pepper, ketchup.
yeah.
What makes you
Lunch.
not grumpy?
Yeah, that's good. That would turn me from the Bukit Timah Monkey Man into Alexander Louis Fossiani in like 2 seconds.
A
Cup of black coffee. Yeah,
Yeah, we're treating them. So this isn't like what they normally eat. This is a treat.
Right.
yeah. You're level. You're
My
trying
mom's
to nail it
lasagna.
for the Bukit Timah Monkey Man.
Yeah, calm them down with a good homemade meal.
Chili's bucket of bones.
Hell yeah, delicious.
The like little tiny things, and yeah, he'd eat that. Be great.
Hell yeah, he would. Fuck yes,
Those
he
mini ribs or whatever the hell they are.
would.
Delicious.
Goddamn right.
Just a
Goddamn
bucket
right
of
he would.
bones will work. We don't have to get
Just a bucket of barbecue sauce
yeah.
covered
Yeah,
bones.
don't have to get too crazy.
Yeah.
The Falk Monster. What do we say? This is the one that was in the movie clip. This is the one that was reaching into people's houses.
Oh yeah, he looks like the more classic Bigfoot out of all the ones we've covered today.
Pop Tarts for sure. This guy.
Oh yeah.
Pop Tarts?
Do they still make
Pop-Tarts.
those? Do they still make those blue Pop Tarts?
You know what? I changed not Pop Tarts, toaster strudels. This
Oh,
guy
yeah.
That's very
would eat
kind
a toaster
of you. That's
strudel.
very kind.
Yeah.
That's a level up. Yeah, I'll say
Certainly
that.
an upgrade.
I'd make him a hungry man frozen dinner.
Why is this guy getting the crap food and the other guy was getting like a delicious breakfast?
the Jack Links, bro.
I try to think he eats a lot of wild food, not cooked. Give him
does
some
kinda
proper
live close to
American
man as well,
processed
so-
garbage.
Yeah.
Take him to the Cracker Barrel. Falk Monster.
Yeah, take him to the Cracker Barrel
Yeah,
one
just
time.
give him the full, let him hit lunch in kind of like a dinner situation where it's like a really
Well-
late lunch where he's not going to
He really
walks in
gets
a
the
Bigfoot
authentic.
at Cracker
Yeah,
Barrel.
it's not about special because of like better than normal human dinner. Like human dinner in general special. So you want to give him the real McCoy, take him to Cracker Barrel, spend a couple hours.
Take him in as a Bigfoot. He's going to leave as like a
diarrhea Bigfoot.
45-year-old.
He's gonna get one
Southern
of those wood
father.
puzzles from the table and he'll click. His brain will be like, I'm a man now.
I am a human.
I'm a man. All right. What about the Grassman? What does he get? He has his little hut. Don't
I
forget.
feel like, is it too on the nose to just give him like a nice, true vegan, fruitarian sort of spread?
Ooh.
No,
I like
think
that.
he would love that. I think he would love that. That would vibe me
You
out
went a
too.
different direction from me. I would have said Ohio, bring that man a Skyline chili
five-way.
5-way.
Yeah, okay.
The
Set
two
him
of you
up
said
right.
the same thing at the same time is so
Yeah,
stupid.
you gotta get that
Speaks to
Skyline.
our cultural literacy of the Midwest. I forgot to mention the Falk Monster had ostrich feet, but you remembered that, right? Lastly,
Yeah.
we got the Manda Burang. What does the Manda Burang get? Indian Yeti. He makes his house on flat ground, if that helps.
Doesn't.
Is it mean to say I want to like have a awesome Vindaloo with him just to see how they handle spice?
Like, you want to just see if they can,
Like for science, I want to know if like can he take spice?
like,
Give him
does
a
the ape
spicy
man, like,
Vindaloo, throw a dosa on the side. See
Oh.
what he's doing.
just
Not
traditional
good for
Indian
me.
fare?
Oh,
Food and
right,
paper.
that
You're right.
immediately.
This is
That sounds
happening for
great.
you.
All right.
Yeah.
Bonus
Rice-
ape.
what's
Bonus
that?
ape
I
then.
forget what it's called, but the like delicious rice pudding, or it's like a rice.
Yeah, I don't know what that's called either, but that is so good.
I would have that meal with that man.
What is that called? The chot? I can't remember what it's called. Not chot. I can't remember what it's called.
Rice kheer,
Yeah, something like that. Is that-
Kheer, kheer.
I think so. I think that's right. That's fucking good. Bonus ape, Alex Xander Louis Fossiani. What
Bonus
are you gonna big food me? What do I get?
Oh, man. See, the problem is you're like the food guru in my life. So, the fuck do I get
John
you?
Wayne
Oh.
at Eat at Joe's.
Bang.
You're just gonna get
I'll have
a
that.
John
Black
Wayne from
coffee.
Eat at Joe's, black coffee.
You-
Yep.
Yeah, give me the white toast, not
Not
even the
fair.
sourdough.
Appetizer is just bread, but it's 5 different types of bread with multiple varietals of butter. And all the
take
different,
that.
it's like, this butter was made in an old cask by a nun. Alex would be like, yes, I love this butter.
I
Yeah.
legit like butter. Listen, butter, olive oil, things like that. People aren't thinking about it enough. You're not thinking about it enough.
You're not
Those
thinking
things,
about it enough.
butter, olive oil, those things have a taste, you fools. Anyway, with that, the H8 sequence continues, and the first Big Feet duology has come to a close. Maybe I'll come back to it. Maybe I won't. But there's plenty more Big Feet where that came from. Hopefully that's the last time we ever hear about Zach, though. Jacob, my good friend, it has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on to the show. I know more than one person is going to be psyched to see this episode pop in their feed. Please, you are welcome to come back on the show whenever you want. But today, before we go, is there anything you want to say? Anything you're working on?
You can find me on the old socials at Jacob Wysocki on all the socials across the board. Give me a follow. I post about things that I'm doing. I post about places that I'm going to be. Cool stuff coming around in the new year. So keep your eyes peeled. And, it's a real treat. It's always cool to hang out with old friends. And it's
vibes.
It's a treat to be an old guy with an old friend. Old friends are hard to find the older you get. So love you, buds. Thanks for letting me be here and talk about something fun.
Yeah, love you too, man. Yeah. Thank you for coming. Thanks you guys for listening out there. Patreon.com/ChilluminatiPod if you're listening. We'll see you on December 20th in Chicago at Cox and Crendor Live. And that's all I got, folks. Mathis, take us out.
Crendor.
That's it. Thank you guys so much. We're off to do a mini-sode over at Patreon. We appreciate you. We love you. Crendor. Goodbye.
Anyway, me and my wife were sitting outside indulging on our porch one night, enjoying ourselves. I needed to go to the bathroom, so I stepped back inside, and after a few moments, I hear my wife go, "Holy shit, get out here." So I quickly dash back outside, and she's looking up at the sky in awe. I look up too, and there's a perfect line of dozen lights traveling across the sky.